What's up, everyone? Nima here, and I want to talk about a game that just came out on the Switch. It's been out for a while on other platforms, but we just got it on the Switch here on Tuesday, and that is Ys 9 Maelstrom Nox. Uh, I got to have some quite a bit of time with the game. I got to beat it, um, and I'll go into some of the good and bad about this game. First thing, got to start off with the bad, and that has to be on the performance. Uh, I I will say my experience was that the frame rate was really janky. We're talking into the single digits. Now they did put an update out, and that did fix quite a bit. The interesting thing about the frame rate drop is that it didn't happen in battles. It didn't happen in the dungeons where you would think that would happen. It actually happened in the city more than anywhere. But the graphics and stuff, you know, it's a Nintendo Switch game. Uh, and this is a game that is out for the PC, PlayStation 4, and there's an upgrade for the PlayStation 5. Uh, all three of those, it looks way better in, and it's going to. The Switch is kind of limited in what it can do graphically. Gameplay wise, though, really not much of a difference. Um, and that's, I think, where this game shines is gameplay. That action RPG, arguably the best when you talk about Ys and delivering that. They are, bar none, one of the best at doing that. Every fight, you don't get bored of it, you don't get tired of it, you're always excited for another enemy to come around. And that's where this game definitely thrives. I will say, with the graphics and everything, if it's a big stickler to you, if that's a huge problem and you have another platform, I would definitely go that route before I'd pick up the Switch. But if all you have is the Switch, you're still getting a really good game, and you're not missing out on anything because you're used to Switch graphics. If you do have the PS5, though, definitely check it out there. Um, for one, you could probably get it a little bit cheaper, to be honest. When these come out, for the Switch, even though they come out later, they're usually still at that premium price, and that is the case with these 9 being $59.99. Story-wise, the story is fantastic. It's a Ys game. They have some of the best stories in all RPG gaming, and this is no exception to that. Adds into that. I'm not going to give anything away. I don't want to give anything too much because it's a really great game. There's a ton of characters you get to meet. Uh, so much if you're familiar with it, like Ys, everything but Ys Origins. And if you're familiar with RPGs, you get to know that this is one of those games that this the your your allies and your teammates, they aren't just there for decoration. They're not just there for support. They have their own depth in there, and they really flesh that out in these games. So you get that, and there's definitely that. The game itself, though, starts with you as Adol, as always, and you arrive at the city, and you are. They assume that you've committed a crime, and you're actually imprisoned. You then join a group called Noxtrum, and from there, the game really kind of takes off, gets into a lot of that fun Ys experience that we all love. Um, so for story and all that, it's great. Uh, I would say story for me gets like an 8 out of 10. The soundtrack, it's not the best for Ys. It's a really good soundtrack in general, but for Ys, it falls kind of let's say mediocre, to be honest. Again, the standard that Ys sets with their soundtrack is so high that it's kind of hard to say, oh, it's bad. It's just not great for their standard. And so I would give it around a 7 as far as sound goes. Um, and again, graphics, that one's such a hard one. And if I was to equate that also with gameplay, it also gets a little bit more convoluted because the gameplay I think is a 9 out of 10. A lot of customization, upgrading your weapons, all that fun stuff, the skills, the battles, it's nonstop action, super fun. Graphics not so great, but we've talked about that, and I will say the patch helped a lot. And if I were if you were to ask me, hey, what Ys game should I play? I've never played a Ys game before. Do I need to start at Origins? Do I need to where should I start? I would say Ys 8 is actually where I would start. That one might be my favorite Ys game of all time. And Ys 9 actually I think looks better than that one. So if that gives you an idea of graphics and for anyone who maybe is thinking about buying either one, you're kind of on the fence. If you enjoy action RPGs, this is a great series. I would definitely get it. It's not going to be, I've noticed with these games, they don't go on sale too often. So if you're waiting for a sale, I wouldn't if you have the funds to do it. And if all you have is a Nintendo Switch, you're getting a great port and you're going to enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. With that being said, um, I would probably say if graphics are important to you and you have another system, I would go that way. You'll probably save some money and get a better looking game that has the same awesome elements that we discussed. Soundtrack, gameplay, story, all of that. But overall, I would say with the standard being a Switch game, this game gets a solid 8 out of 10. And I say a really solid 8 out of 10. Uh, Another thing that I will say, because if you have picked it up and you're kind of running around and you find it almost monotonous, you find it maybe, I don't want to use the word suffocating, but for a lot of the beginning of the game, you're in the same town. And I don't know, for me, that got to be a bit much. I thought, well, is this entire game just in this town? It's a big town. It's huge. It's a huge city. But with Ys, there's so many different environments and there's all these other places to discover. And I was kind of afraid that that wasn't the case with this game. But I was mistaken. And later on, the game really you get out of the city. The game really opens up. Has a lot of great environments. Um, and so yeah, you're gonna get all of that if you've been playing it and you're curious about that. Uh, and another thing to mention for anyone who's thinking about getting into the series. No, you don't have to start at Ys Origin. In fact, I almost say don't start with Ys Origin. Ys Origin is a great game, but far different from the other Ys out there. And unless you have a substantial amount of money and a lot of resources, you're not going to be able to get Ys 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, so any of these is a perfect launch point. They always use the same character, Adol, and Dogi is usually um, there's his buddy. Again, not Ys Origin though. You're not Adol in there. Um, but the great thing about Ys games is it's a completely different story. You don't have to know what happened in 8 to play 9. There might be a few links, there might be a little bit of subtext, stuff like that, but nothing major. Uh, and there's almost a very fresh experience when you go into a Ys game. So yeah, I would say that if you're thinking about getting it, I would definitely pick it up. If you've never played a Ys game and you really want to get into the series, I would go Ys 8 and then Ys 9. Uh, Ys 8 for me just was probably it just hit the nail on the head for Ys games. I'll put it that way. But yeah, if you played it, you enjoyed it, and now you're looking, well, should I spend this extra money? Um, Definitely. I would definitely get it. It's a great game. Now, if you could only buy one game this week, this would not be the game that I would get. But on my next review, my next video, I will talk about the game that if I only had $60 that I would get that for me gets a 9 out of 10. I will be talking and doing a review for Monster Hunter Stories 2. That is a fantastic game. I think you guys are really going to love that one. But not to take away from Ys 9, because we shouldn't too much, it is a great game. It's a very solid addition to the Ys lineup. Check it out if you get a chance. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Please take care of yourself and your loved ones. Bye-bye.